Good morning, everyone. Rosalind is out of her cage.
An animal has escaped, or has it? How these students cope with a potentially dangerous breakout. Eric's been working with Olive for the last year, but what he's about to do could destroy their relationship in the blink of an eye. Melanie has waited her whole life to get here, but what happens when she's finally in puts her entire future in doubt.
My initial response was I have to quit the program.
At Moorpark, no one forgets they're dealing with wild, potentially dangerous, and often unpredictable animals. Because of this, precautions and procedures are in place to ensure the safety of students, visitors, and animals. This morning, an animal has escaped. At least that's what most of these first years think. It's really a surprise drill that only a handful know about. As if that weren't enough, all the second years are off the campus. First years are on their own.
We want the students to react to it and deal with the situation as if it were real. So we want them to believe, as many of them as possible, to believe that it is real.
Hello, it's Mara.
Rosalind, female Gwen, got out.
Laura, one of the students in on the drill, has already sounded the emergency whistle, a signal that all but supervisory personnel must find the nearest shelter. Other students have taken up the alarm, blowing whistles in their areas. To them, this is the real thing. Laura now phones into the front office that a primate has escaped.
We've got large carnivores here that are extremely dangerous animals, and primates could be almost just as dangerous. They can, now certainly they might not be deadly, but they can attack to protect themselves. They can attack out of fear, and you have to be ready to deal with that.
Everyone's secure. What do you want me to do?
Okay, keep everybody safe, and I will take it from here. Just stay somewhere safe, okay?
Okay, bye.
Good morning, everyone. Rosalind, the primate, is out of her cage. Everything will be fine. If you find somewhere safe to stay, I will take care of it. Just please don't move until I come release you. Thank you.
Mara Rodriguez, a staff member, also knows about the drill. Treating it like a real escape, she takes charge, arming herself with, would you believe, popcorn?
The first thing that I think about is, do I have whatever an animal is going to want to go back in its cage? And that's why I brought the popcorn. So if I know it's a primate that's out of its cage, I always run to something sweet, because we have been able to get scores of primates back in their enclosure just by presenting them with something yummy. I'm also thinking about what's going on in the student's mind, because I don't want them to be nervous, because people don't think clearly around wild animals when they're extremely nervous.
When animals get out of their enclosures or their exhibits, they're usually very afraid, and more afraid than even we are. But they got out, and now they're figuring out, what the heck am I going to do? And they're scared, so we have to remember that all the time. And if we can get them back without having to use a net or tranquilizers or whatever else of the extreme things that we have to deal with if the situation calls for it, if there's other ways we can lure the animal back with food, we'll try it, we'll use it. But if we can get them back as stress-free as possible, that's the ideal.
Mara continues on to the primate area. If this were a real breakout, she'd be on the lookout for the escapee. But right now, her main concern is the safety and location of the students, including several who only heard the whistles but not the announcement. They can only wait in the dark and speculate.
Please, Samantha?
We did that in the Kinky Joe's cage.
Now, in primates, Mara finally finds Laura, and though both know it's a drill, they try to keep it as real as possible.
Stay here, everybody. Okay, Gwennon's out.
Yes.
Up the front row. Okay. Any primate, this is the trick, the popcorn. Rosin's out.
Rosin's out.
Oh, nice.
All this time, incoming students are warned about the situation as they check into the main office and find themselves unable to leave.
Let's say, there they are, okay?
Mara continues demonstrating how to entice an imaginary escaped primate back to its enclosure, while trapped students continue their way.
This could all be a drill, too. You never know.
Gosh, the tiger is out, and she has not been fed for a week.
Okay, Laura, quick, come throw the food. Come throw the sugar. And what do you know?
Now it's time for the all clear that will release the sequestered students.
Okay, primates, thank you for your cooperation. The animal is back safely in her enclosure. You did a wonderful job. You all passed the drill. Thank you for participating. Hi, you can come out. This was a drill, but you all passed with flying colors. And it's really cute that you run to safety between large carnivores that could eat you.
Everyone accounted for. Mara has one final stop.
Are you all locked in here?
Yeah.
Thank you for participating in our drill, and I'm sorry you are the last people that I get to release. Thank you for your participation, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to you, the zoo is a much safer place.